Carmen with Queers Converse, and I am here with Oliver. Oliver, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, my name is Oliver. I'm living here in the First Hill area. I'm excited to be here.
What pronouns do you use?
He, him, and then in drag, she, her. So I'm kind of all over the place, but he, him works.
Well, let's just jump right into it. We met through the virtual world, of course. I don't think we've met in person yet
No, no, we haven't.
due to life, but I most recently learned about you through Beauty Boys,
Hmm.
and you were in the production Beauty Boys Go Boo Part 6,
Yes.
and you were the role of the bestie.
Yeah, that was fun.
So could you kind of describe your character and tell me about that experience filming with Beauty Boys?
Yeah, it was so much fun. So I was introduced to the bestie, and pretty much the role was she's kind of that girl. She's that bitch. She's super rich. She's from the uppity of New York. And I played the best friend of one of the lead characters, but I was also supposed to be kind of like, the man snatcher, the man stealer. So I was throwing a little shade there. So that was a lot of fun. I got introduced to the role. Through Caleb, who asked me to do it. So it was really fun, and it was really nice to get branded by Beauty Boys, kind of get that stamp, because they're pretty known in the community, pretty iconic. They do some wonderful things. So to be able to be a part of that was just honestly an honor in itself, and then to be able to work with the talented cast was so cool. And going back to be able to perform in something during these times, it felt so good. It felt good to just come somewhere fully dressed in drag. There was girls upstairs, the kiki, the production. It was nice. It was almost like hanging out before a show that never started, but like the show was, the filming. So it was really fun. It felt really organic, and it was really, really amazing to be a part of it.
I really imagine how enjoyable that must have been. I'm thinking back to the last time I was like around people, and it was actually with Beauty Boys as well. And
Hmm.
that energy of being around people was.
Yeah, it was so nice.
So, was this your first film? And do you plan on adding actor to your resume?
Yeah, it was my first film. I've done some like theater growing up, but it was my first time being behind the camera. And I had my little cameo in there, and it was a lot of fun to play that role. And I really enjoyed like watching everything happen, like sitting behind the camera, the lights, everybody communicating. It was really fun to just see all of that go down, that style of art. I would definitely like to add actor to the brand here. So we'll see what happens with that. I think I'm definitely ready for something like that.
Cool, fun. And you also do makeup artistry, correct? You're also a
Yeah,
makeup artist?
that's what kind of got me into like this whole world of drag and just performing. It was through my love of makeup I found out I was a little queen, a little performer. I think I already did all of these things. I just didn't know it could have been thrown into the drag box. So that's how that happened.
As someone who kind of like not discovered, but like really like got more into makeup over quarantine,
Hmm.
I learned that there's different types of makeup artistry. Like,
Yeah.
what type of makeup artistry do you love to practice, and like what do you love about makeup artistry?
I think when I first started drag, I was definitely a little bit more campier, and I kind of want to go back to that. I found myself wearing huge cut creases and funky eyebrows and putting things probably where they shouldn't be. And I think I kind of let people tell me to like do glam a little bit more. So I started like doing glam, trying to do the whole like ooh girl thing, which is a lot of fun and I like doing. And I think I kind of want to get back to more of the campy styles, more of the artistic stuff. So for me, I think it's really fun to kind of just see those big fun styles come out, and I would like to start creating more of them. But I do love glam makeup as well. I started off doing makeup on, well, actually, no, I started off doing makeup on myself, and I learned off Instagram. So I was beat to death every day, like highlight, contour, for brows. And then when I started doing makeup on other people, I was turning all these lovely people into like drag queens or like really beat Instagram models. So it took a long time for me to really learn how to calm it down and do something more natural and subtle and glamorous. I think the next step would be to learn like airbrush makeup, and like special effects would be a lot of fun.
Ooh, I can only imagine. It's such a fun and slippery slope because every time I do my makeup, I'm like, I'm just gonna do something really simple, and then it's
Oh, I'm the worst at that. I can never like I usually can't even like plan necessarily a makeup look to do. Like I'll have an idea, but I know whatever my idea is, it's just not going to happen. I'll just put something somewhere and something else is going to happen, and I'm going to go extra. I'm going to throw some glitter on that bitch, and like it's just done. So I'm too extra, and that's the problem. I can't ever stop like not being extra, or just doing that one extra thing that you probably should or shouldn't.
I mean, why not be extra?
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Where do you pull your energy from? Who inspires you, or what inspires you?
Starting off, just like a lot of other makeup artists, I follow like a lot of like Brazilian makeup artists. They don't speak a lick of English. Like they don't ever talk in English in their videos, which is fine. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, girl, but I can sit there and look at this great work and kind of just try to mimic that. So I pull a lot of inspiration from like Brazilian artists, other drag queens as well. I started watching drag, I think like season 7, like Violet's and Fame season. So when I first saw them, I was like, oh my God. And I think the queen that really did it for me and really like made me want to have fun was like Layla McQueen from season 7. Like I saw that and I was like, okay, like I definitely need to do this. So I pull a lot of inspiration from those style of queens, and then the Brazilian makeup artists. And then I guess myself, I've always just been like kind of fun and want to express myself through arts or paints or colors. And I think I found a way to do that through makeup.
I'm very envious, just because I'm still like, oh my gosh, I look at that and I just can only imagine.
Trial and error, a lot of tears.
I bet, yes, and a lot of practice. Now you live on First Hill, you live in Seattle now, but you moved here from Illinois.
I did, yeah, about 3.5 years ago.
Wow. So how did that move like affect your career and affect your artistry?
I think it was like the best thing for my career in artistry. I come from like a smaller area in Illinois, and I couldn't really, you can only be so successful there being like a queer person, being a Black person, just being somebody who lives outside of those norms, right? So moving to Seattle and being able to be around a diverse community, like super like diverse community with creative artistic people has just made it, it's made it accessible, it's made it real and viable. Like it's, I can go to the shows, I can be inspired by other people. The opportunities are better, even with like my personal career as an esthetician, being able to get drag bookings, being able to get makeup bookings. It's been really wonderful. It has, especially to come from a smaller area. I think it really makes me be able to appreciate how awesome it is to be here and to be in a city and to be in such a fun, diverse community.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment, because I'm in Seattle, born and raised, like in Renton.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And I'm also like a little surprised. So coming from the Midwest, I'm guessing, to the Pacific Northwest, incredibly positive experience for you.
Yeah, definitely. I've actually never been here before I moved here. We just found our apartment online. I'm like, let's go. What's a couple years on my life if I do or don't like it? You got to risk it for the biscuit, and I risked it, and we like it.
Oh, I love it. Risk it for the biscuit. Yeah.
That's a little Midwest right there. Got to risk it for that biscuit.
Oh, wow. That's so adventurous, and like, get it.
Yeah, right? You have to.
And I guess it paid off.
Mm-hmm. Definitely is.
And you've mentioned this before. You do drag.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about your drag artistry and kind of describe what kind of queen Athena Just The Tip?
Yeah. Athena Just The Tip tipped in. I've always been just Athena, and I could not find a last name for myself, and it just bothered me. And then my best friend and I were always coming up with drag names. And one night I was like, oh my God, just The Tip. And I was like, fuck, my name's already Athena. I can't change my first name. It's been 3 years. So recently I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make that my last name so no one else can be Just The Tip. Like I made that up. It has to be me. But Athena, I think Athena's the nice drag friend. Like I'm kind of like, I'm just here to be everybody's friend and have a good time. I really love to express myself through dance besides makeup. I think it started makeup and definitely went to dance. I love to bring high energy, full choreographed performances, give you a little strip tease. She's not wearing pads. I want you to see these cheeks clapping together when I dance. So I like to really bring like fun, a lot of energy, the choreography. Makeup was my first love. So when it comes to drag, that's what really made me want to get into drag. So for me, I just love bringing a fierce blended painted mug, and having a lot of fun with that. I think what I want to kind of take my drag to, because I haven't been the most conceptual queen, I can admit that. I think I've really been able to just be confident with my makeup and dancing. But I kind of like the businesswoman executive looks. Like I want to go like high 80s and 90s fashion. And then I also want to start representing my I'm mixed, so just my Black culture a little bit more. I think coming from the Midwest, it was kind of a little hard for me to accept or want to express that growing up when I was around a certain community. And now as an adult, I'm like finally like found myself, and I'm really confident with my background, where I come from, and I want to express and honor that a little bit more. So doing some more like Black excellent looks, some fun banji, some sexy African looks, all that.
Of course, and I can kind of relate to that. Can you describe that a little bit more? Growing up in the Midwest, not kind of being as how did you describe it?
I don't know why I said, because I can't remember. Sorry. But being from the Midwest, you know, I was oftentimes growing up, I was the only person of any color in the room. And then I was probably the only gay person in the room. And then my family specifically, I think I was definitely way more influenced by my white family and my white friends. So growing up in that, you know, I've always been like othered or kind of felt different, and not celebrated for my differences. So it kind of made it hard for me to celebrate myself. Like growing up, it was really, really hard for me to find love with myself. And I think literally just this past year, I've like actually been able to like find that love in myself, and accept myself really. So I'm like, I feel like I'm just now kind of starting that and like starting like live how I'm kind of supposed to. So it's been good coming here and like that transition out of that.
I love to hear that. Do you care to describe how you've kind of gone into that journey of self-love? That's kind of been a theme with a couple of my interviews, and so I'd love to hear your take and your perspective.
Definitely. I think it just listening to what people say to you, you know, I think, and oftentimes what you say to others. I went my whole life asking other people like, wow, how are you so special? Or like, where do you come from? How are you so unique? And I never like stopped and asked myself that. Or when other people would say things about myself, like I don't think I ever really took it in. So kind of just like sitting back and like accepting things as they are. You know, if somebody tells you something, like even if you don't think that, it may not be true as well, but like, hey, somebody said that about you, so take that and run with it. I also think like honestly, COVID has been horrible for the world and a lot of people, but I think it has, in some ways there has been silver linings, just with like for me personally, like it made me stop working for a while. It kind of made me go inward, and over the quarantine, having those couple months off of no work, I think like I literally just found myself. It's very different. I think I've been struggling a lot with like just my mentals over the past couple years. And I think quarantine it just did something. It literally woke me up, and I started getting more self-help, found my spirituality a little bit more. I started reading a lot, and learning about myself, and just it kind of just took over me. And now I'm like, okay, me. I'm like, all right, we're gonna do something. Like we're having fun. Like this is it. So I honestly think quarantine shut us down, and I think it really just made me come up. And now I'm ready to come up and get the hell out of quarantine, so I can start really doing the things I'm supposed to do.
Well, congratulations. And
Thank you.
I think that's great. I think that's a great way to like turn what has been a really hard situation for a lot of people into
Hmm.
something of kind of a silver lining.
Right, for sure.
And have you been doing any of your drag during the quarantine? Any virtual drag? Have you explored that realm like a lot of queens?
I haven't, you know, I haven't done, honestly, Beauty Boys Go Boo was like the only thing I've done within this quarantine in drag. So I've honestly been kind of like not questioning my drag, but just like, where's my motivation? Where's my passion coming from? You know, because I respect all the other local queens here, and these bitches are working. They're turning it out. They're posting. They're doing looks. Like I'm like, girl, I see you, and I'm like, wait, why am I not doing these things? So I think I'm in a time right now where I am just questioning like my drive, like what I want to do with my drag, what's, you know, what is going on. It's kind of hard for me to see what's going on outside of COVID. So I think I've honestly kind of muted drag a little bit, but like I've started some other things, but I do really want to stick with drag and have that keep going. I just need to like get up off this ass and like sew something, put on some makeup.
Well, then you're gonna love this next question because I'm actually gonna ask. I was gonna ask you. You've talked about like what got you into drag, your makeup artistry,
Hmm.
but who inspires you? Like, where do you pull your energy from with your drag?
Rita LaRue, she's a local queen here. Visage is her mother, Legs LaRue. And this girl, she is just like, she's a newer queen. She's been doing it for maybe for a couple years or so. I think she just turned 21 over COVID. I had her Instagram pulled up, Queen Rita LaRue. But this girl is posting a makeup look every day. She is wearing extravagant dresses. She's making headpieces. Like, I message her all the time. I'm like, girl, damn, like you literally, like, I haven't done it yet, but you make me want to get off my ass and go do some drag. Like, she is so motivated. And she's just one of those queens in Seattle that I mentioned. Like, there's so many queens here that work so hard. And this girl just does it. I cannot wait for her success. Give her a couple more years under her belt, which is like how conceptual and creative she is. Like, she's going to be our next big girl out of Seattle. And I'm really happy to just know her.
Oh my gosh. So she's definitely one of your motivators.
Yeah, she so is. Like, she posts every day a whole new makeup look. I'm like, girl, where do you have the time? Where do you have the motivation? How are you doing this? I really love it. She's very inspiring to me.
Ooh, we're gonna have to go give her a follow. Maybe go
Absolutely.
on Converse. I'm gonna slide in those DMs.
For sure. I'll send you the info.
Please do. Thank you.
Of course.
When you do your drag,
Mm-hmm.
what joy do you get out of it? What do you get out of it? Do you get joy out of it? What do you
I
get?
do. The getting ready is so much fun for me. Like, just the fantasy of coming alive. Like, you black out your eyebrow, you draw one on, then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, damn, I see you coming, girl. And then just like down to the last second. And then once I finally put on the wig and lashes, that's when I'm just like, there she is. That's when she comes out. And I would have to say, just performing in drag gives me so much life. Like, I put like a lot of pressure on my shoulders. Like, I want to come with full choreography. I want you to watch my performance, and I want you to know I like worked on this for 2 weeks and I've been practicing in my bedroom. So I would say just the performance really does pull it out of me. And I think since I haven't been performing, it's been really hard to like pull Athena out of myself. But I do. I live for the crowd. I live for pleasing people. I get really extra on the stage. I've injured myself on the stage. That's why I had to take a break from drag for a while, because I got a little too extra. So yeah, I do love performing and I love getting ready.
So then that kind of makes sense why you haven't done it as much, because what you thrive off of is the crowd. You thrive off that energy. You thrive off performing and being on that
Yes,
stage.
and feeling the energy. Yeah. So I have been thinking though, I'm like, okay, I have a dance floor in my living room. My roommate and I, we got some like dance tiles. So I'm like, okay, I can put together a look and like maybe do like a little virtual performance. So I definitely do want to do that. I've been trying to work on my motivation just all in all as a person. Slightly unmotivated, I know. So I think I'm trying to get that together. Once I think I personally get a lot of things more together with myself, I think that's when I'll be able to pull and do other things outside of myself. I really think it starts, even though it's drag and creating something, it really does start with like, how are you feeling on the inside? How are your habits? What are you doing? So I'm really trying to like get all that shit in a wrap.
Yes, I think motivation is hard to come by in general right now. So don't be too hard on yourself is what I'm going to say, because I know I've had a hard time getting motivated.
For sure.
And it's good to kind of try to find those little motivators and those little things that can kind of like those good habits like you just talked about that can kind of help you. I've been trying to form more structure to my day and have like
structure. Yeah.
Creating that structure is like, that's what I've learned. By the end of 2020, I was figuring it out.
Yeah, I thrive off structure because I'm not a structured person. So like I need the structure. So I totally agree. Otherwise, if I don't have like my structure to motivate me or know what I'm doing, I'm just gonna get off work, come home, smoke a bowl, play some video games, call it a night. I'm like, and I can't do this for all of quarantine because it's been a year. So I'm like, I need to start getting something produced here.
Absolutely. And you mentioned earlier, like in mental health, it's so important for us to like prioritize our mental health and really reflect. And I think it's really important that, we all do that. And so one, kudos to you for prioritizing your mental health, because we know we don't all do that. And two, do you have any like tips for people who are trying, for extroverts like myself, who are trying to survive, who feed off, like I'm assuming like yourself, I'm assuming you're kind of an extrovert from kind of this conversation on getting motivated?
Talk to your friends. Honestly, that's what I need to do a little bit more of too. Because like there are so many other people who are out there who are like might be a little bit more motivated than myself or you. And like reaching out to those people, or like even looking on their Instagrams, just like finding that one person that you're always seeing putting through so much work. I think those are the people that you need to like associate with, go to, send a message to. I'm working, so that's wonderful. My job is very public, so I'm like, okay, we're a little sketch on that. But because of that, I get to talk to people all day, and I get to thrive, and I get to have conversations. So even though my life has changed a lot, I would still say being able to go to work and kind of just kiki and with my regulars gives me a lot of normality, and that feels really good. Even clients that I didn't like, I'm like, hey girl, like how are you? Come in. Yes, like what is going on today? So I think that's been really nice.
Well, I very jealous of you right now because I in my paid gig is teaching and I'm virtual still, and so
Oh wow.
I don't get to go into doing that. So I can definitely see it's like a blessing and a little bit of a curse. Like I could definitely
Uh-huh.
ups
Wow,
and
that's
downs to everything.
for sure. That's a lot though, not being able to just like really communicate. Like me, like I'm taking the public bus every day, don't always want to, but I'm busting my ass down third. I'm going to work. I'm seeing like 1 to 3 clients a day, get to talk to my coworkers. So I think if I didn't have that, it'd probably affect me a lot more than I even know. I think it gives me a lot that I need.
How does Athena and Oliver, or how do they complement each other?
Ooh, how do they complement each other? I would say I'm probably the same person in drag that I am outside of drag. I don't really play character. So the crossover just really is just like me turning into like a more extravagant version of myself, really. So I think they complement and stay within each other very well. I'm pretty much the same person in drag that I am outside of drag. Just a little bit more extra, a little bit more sassier maybe. But and I think Athena has also allowed myself as Oliver to like find confidence in just my walk, my looks, my attitude. Just you put on drag, it doesn't even matter like what you look like, what you're wearing. You put on a wig or some lashes or something, you're just like a whole new, like, whole different, even if it's not a new person, a whole different energy comes out of you. It's just like it's really you at like your most heightened level. You're almost playing like a character of yourself, and nobody really knows that character. They don't know who's under the makeup. And I think that really feeds just like so much fun energy, and it makes it to where you can just go into any room and own it because sure you're you, but you're also this mysterious creature that nobody really knows.
That really actually reminds me of the conversation I had with Brit Brutality.
Hmm.
I spoke with Brit Brutality last weekend,
Yes.
and she said something very similar. Kind of just like you're just more like eccentric version
Hmm.
drag, and that's what drag is. And drag is many things on a spectrum, and it's not anything that you can fit into a box.
Right. Uh-huh.
Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that with drag? How do you define drag?
Absolutely. I think drag is everything that's anything that you want it to be. It's such a free form of expression, and I think some people do try to like box it or be like you need to have this look, or old school, new school, we do this, we don't do that. But I just think as long as you can get into drag and still, well, you don't have to prove that you're a performer or somebody who can do it. Is if you're feeling your fantasy, that's fine. But like if you're a true performer, if you get in a drag, and if you're in artistry and you're expressing the artistry, like you're doing drag. You may be doing a different variance of it or a new style of it, or maybe it hasn't been done before, or maybe it's taboo in a traditional drag culture. But I think as long as like you're putting together a character and I don't know who you are and you're giving me something I haven't seen, like that is drag, definitely.
Thank you. I appreciate that perspective a lot. And kind of wrapping up, I wanted to ask you one more thing because I was following you on the socials. I'm a social media, just that's where I do my research. I like,
Detective, investigation, discovery.
yes, that is, that's my Gemini sun. That's who I am. So you're also getting into modeling, correct?
I am. That's really exciting. I think that's kind of where drag has almost like been pushed to the side slightly, and the modeling thing has kind of come up a little bit. I think I've been doing so much self-discovery lately, um, and like learning to accept myself because this is something I wouldn't have done last year, like at all. May have like would dream to do something like that, but just wouldn't have the confidence for it. So yeah, I've just found this new kind of passion with like modeling, and it's not even about just like, oh, I want to model. It's like planning a concept, planning a photo shoot, like getting some art. It's almost like not a form of drag, but like you have a vision, you put on makeup, you go to the show. With modeling, it's like I have this concept, I have this idea in my head. You find a photographer, you put it together. So I personally have like a lot of concepts going on right now that I'm planning and shoots coming up. But I think doing drag has allowed me to find confidence outside of drag. and I'm ready to just kind of find more confidence, I guess, in myself before I do it in drag. Because drag's hard and it's tiring, you know. And if you're getting booked for a show, like people want to see this other version, this caricature of you, even though it's still you, but like, you know, you're being highlighted in like a different form, which is awesome and amazing. I also want to try like other forms of myself, like other sides of myself, and really find myself with that. So yeah, modeling's been fun. Got some fun stuff planning, and like hopefully I'll get a contract soon. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, you're gorgeous. Your photos are incredible. So I
Thank you.
put that energy out there. I'm sure it will happen for you. You'll get
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And again, like I'm so happy that you've been able to find all these different avenues in this new form of artistry and modeling. And like during these times, you really, even though you seem like you said you've been unmotivated, you really have like give yourself some credit. You've done a lot, and you're doing a lot.
Thank you. I'm pretty hard on myself. That goes back to the mentals. We're working on it.
You know what? I identify with you in that realm, and it's a constant daily journey. So let me give you that verbal affirmation. You're doing great.
Thank you. All is well. Yes, all is well.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you for having me.
It was the best, and I really appreciate just your insight and you sharing your story. And if you're interested in coming on Queers Converse, or you have any comments or questions about today's episode, please feel free to email us at queersconverse@gmail.com. We will highlight Oliver's socials and all of the medias below in comments, but please give Oliver a follow. And thank you again. We will be conversing with you soon.
Thank you so much. Have an awesome day.